This is the Sigma 70mm f2.8 DG macro lens for your Sony mirrorless camera. And I'm not a macro photographer, but the image that I got with this lens, I have to say guys, it is truly amazing. What's happening guys, Gary Yaman here, back at it again with a new video. I hope you're doing well, I hope you're fine, I hope you're healthy. Let's begin right away with this video. As always, I'm going to divide this video in several sections. So first up, the build quality, then the image quality, then the autofocus performance, and then I'm going to talk about whether or not you should buy it, yes or no. So let's begin right away with the build quality. This is a Sigma art lens, and as you may or may not know, the art lens lineup from Sigma, these are all like the top high quality lenses. And actually it's not about the size of the lens, it's more of the image quality coming out of this lens lineup. So when you see an art lens, usually from Sigma, these lenses are quite large and quite heavy. And this as well is quite large. It's not the smallest lens in the world, but when it comes down to weight, it's not that heavy. So when you attach this to your Sony camera, it really feels good and nice and not that like front heavy or anything. When it comes down to the size and weight, it's something that I actually really like when combined to the camera. When it comes down to like weather sealing protection and stuff, does it have any weather sealing gaskets? Answer is yes, it has a nice rubber sealing gasket at the back of the lens. This means that you can just take it out outside and don't have to worry about when it just starts to rain and stuff like that. But keep in mind, when it comes down to like stormy weather conditions, I still recommend using a rain sleeve or a rain cover or stuff like that. So any protection, maybe even a plastic bag. Are there any options on this lens? Answer is yes, we got some switches on the side, the autofocus, manual focus switch. We got a focus range switch. The focus ring itself feels really good in the hand, and also it works perfectly fine in my experience. You have to keep in mind that the internal of this lens will push out when you zoom in or when you focus. So it's kind of hard to explain actually, so I'm just going to show it to you what I actually mean. And as you see here in this clip, the internal parts will come out when you focus more at a closer distance. But that will also be protected if you use the lens hood. With that attached, you don't see that the internals will come out all the way out. I hope my explanations make any sense. But anyways, build quality wise is really nice and premium feeling. Don't have any real negative things about it. Let's check out the image quality where things become really interesting. So during my time with this lens, I was just testing out on a little like fake plant. And I was testing out how close you can focus. Then suddenly this little spider appeared. So usually when I see a spider or any bug in my house, I want to get rid of it. I want to dispose it. But this little guy just crawled up real nicely on that little fake plant and just turned around and looked at me like, take a picture of me, I'm waiting for you. So here's the result of that little experience. And what you see here, I think this is my best photo from 2021 right now, and it's just perfect when it comes down to macro photography. When I think about macro photography, I always see like small bugs that are very up close and that you see the eyes and stuff like that, and this is actually the same as what I actually visualized, if that makes any sense. But also I use this lens for all other things, so for a little visit and stuff, so for daily stuff as well, for portraits, and as you see in the following, you can also actually film with it. So the best way to show it to you or to tell is just by showing. And I think I'm gonna stop talking, just show you the images and video, and then come back and talk about it. got any questions like, is it sharp or does it have any like artifacts? Answer is yes, it is really sharp. Even at f2.8, it's actually really sharp. The colors are really nice. And I didn't see any real like strange artifacts such as purple fringing or green fringing or any kind of that kind of stuff. This lens is very well controlled when it comes down to those kind of things. You know, an art lens is always focused on image quality and not about the lens itself, but more about the output. So image quality wise, from this lens, I think is fantastic. So let's continue on to the performance. The autofocus coming out of this lens is not the best in its class. It's not like the fastest. As you see in the following, you see that it takes quite some time to focus on a subject, and the autofocus motor itself actually makes quite some noise as well, and it's not the fastest tool in the shed, but you know, it works. Also for video, as you see in the following clip as well, it works perfectly fine, but don't expect the same speed as what you get with a Sony native lens, or even with their own Sigma lenses like the DG-DN lineup of lenses. Those are much quicker, but in this case, this 70mm f2.8 macro lens, it's not fast, but it's still workable, right? So with that being said, you know, let's do a little recap. When it comes down to build quality, it's nice, premium, solid. For its size, it's quite lightweight. The image quality is fantastic. The autofocus performance is not the best. It's a little bit slow, but still workable. So with those three things in mind, do I recommend this lens? Yes or no? The answer is yes, I do recommend this lens. If you're into macro photography and don't want to pay too much money, then this Sigma 70mm f2.8 macro lens is a really great option. You can also use it on a APS-C sensor camera such as the Sony a6000 lineup. This will be perfectly fine, and this will also be a great way to start with your macro photography career maybe. I think that's it for this video, guys. I also use the Sony 90mm f2.8 macro lens, but that lens is way more expensive, but it does have a better autofocus, but also the range itself, 90mm, is a little bit tighter than this one. 70mm is something that I really like, so it really depends on your own needs if you want to, but to me at least, if I have to choose between the Sony 50mm macro lens that is around 500 euros, $500, or this one, the Sigma 70mm f2.8, this one comes in around $700 US and euros, around that ballpark, I would go with this Sigma lens because the image quality is way better, and just how it feels and everything, it will give you more pleasure in the end, right? Okay. That's all, guys. Thank you again for watching. Subscribe to the channel if not already. Like the video. Comment down below. What do you think about this lens? Do you have this lens? Do you have any more photos than I have, or any more experience or tips or anything? Questions? Let me know in the comment section down below. That's all. Thank you again. Stay safe. Stay healthy. See you in the next one.